And we're live.
Huh. Live and online.
Oh, it feels so good to be back because you know why we're here right now.
Venom.
Lethal Protector.
That guy.
Issue number 4.
4 out of 6.
This is a major key in this run.
I don't know if it would have been a major key before the film had come out. No, it's a major key regardless. It introduces several new symbiotes.
5 new symbiotes.
5 of them. One of them is on the cover.
And one of them made it into the movie.
Correct.
But before we move on to that, let's hit the comment section of our last video.
Of course, because that's how we always do it. But before we do that, don't forget, like and subscribe if you have not done either one of those already.
Yeah, it's super important.
Fernando, Marino, Ryan and Tom, another home run, boys. Love your content, comments, and narrative. I love old school Ditko, but McFarlane Spidey is tops. Great work. Look forward to the next video. Hashtag geek responsibly.
Ooh, we do appreciate that kind sentiment. And you know what? We will geek responsibly because we can't help but do that because this issue is so damn good.
I'll take that. That's an acceptable transition.
Venom Lethal Protector issue 3 ended with Venom, Eddie Brock, getting captured. We don't know by who, we don't know why, but we find out very quickly in this first gorgeous shot of Venom trapped in this like
a ball.
A
right?
Shield
like
almost.
Some kind of stasis field.
Prison.
It just holds him there with sound.
Yes.
Somehow.
And he's making jokes just like, you know, if you were like introduced to Venom from the movie.
Yeah.
He's making jokes like that. He says he will suck the lungs out of this person's throat if he gets out.
That's possible, right? I guess.
I think it is.
They're connected.
I don't really believe him when he says these kind of things because he hasn't.
Does that mean he's going to like do reverse mouth to mouth?
I think so. And it's kind of gross.
I don't know if I want to see that.
I don't think he thought this through.
Right.
But you know what? This is pretty much the closest the movie has gotten to describing what happened in this story.
Right. I think this is the closest amount of kind of crossover, symbiosis, if you will, between the two stories. Yeah, they've got the guy who's holding Venom captive right now is Carlton Drake, the villain from the movie. The company that he runs is the Life Foundation, and their goal, or I guess their business model, is to create emergency condos, I think is how he phrased it.
Yes.
Like they were worried about the Cold War and nuclear apocalypse and all of that, so they built like bomb shelter kind of situations, but exclusive luxury bomb shelters, and he was going to guard them with a symbiote, which sounds terrifying. That's his ultimate plan here.
But effective, I bet.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Venom's pretty hardcore, so I mean, that'd be a useful and effective security guard, but also it might eat you.
Bomb shelter. It makes sense that we have a large part of this storyline taking place underneath the city of San Francisco.
Right, and that is an ongoing theme, too. It's interesting too, because, that was their main fear at that time was the Cold War kind of erupting and becoming hot, nuclear.
Right. And
you can tell they updated that for the movie, where they made their main business's kind of crisis was global warming and the planet like becoming uninhabitable, and he wanted to find new places to live out in space. So they kind of adapted and modernized the mission statement of the Life Foundation, which was kind of cool.
So what does Carlton do? He goes and extracts a piece of Venom using kind of this sound laser wave machine. And why would he need to do that? Well, the title of this issue is Deadly Birth.
Ooh, that makes sense now that I know what happens at the end of the issue.
You see, the scientists have figured out that Venom can only have so many more offspring. In this case, Venom has
5. Yes.
And this is the last one. This is the last son of Venom.
He's kind of rubbing it in his face like, we've got everything we need from you. We've extracted 5 seeds, symbiote seeds they've been referred to. So like, I don't know if he's saying that as like a threat, like, watch your step because we don't need you anymore. I'm not sure what happens, but they cut away from this pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, well, they cut away from it because we actually switched scenes entirely. This story takes place between 2 characters, which is awesome. The first, Spider-Man.
Right.
And the second being Venom.
I like how much Spider-Man is in this. I didn't expect that coming in.
I wasn't expecting it either, especially since we kick off this transition with a car chase.
Right. That seems out of nowhere too, because you're thinking like, who's chasing this car full of criminals? Like Venom's locked up. And it's just Spider-Man. Spider-Man jumps on top of the car and stops them in a very cool pose.
This is my favorite shot of the whole issue. Spider-Man just on top of the car, hands on the window, and you have the perspective from inside the car.
Right.
The negative space that's happening in this panel is crazy because it's all centered just right in the middle of Spidey.
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely the object in this image. Like, that's where the eye is drawn.
Not to mention his fingertips.
Yeah, his eyes are white. His fingertips are white. Everything else is black. So it's just inked so well. I love the color use in that panel.
It's fantastic. And then we go on to a side profile shot because when he landed on that car,
Yeah.
he goes boo. Like, so this happened like bam, like
Yeah,
really quick.
surprise.
He's like, these guys probably got really scared.
Yes.
And he goes on to go, oh, maybe this is actually like, I'm going to leave this spooky stuff to Ghost Rider. I'm going to do what I do best. And he just starts webbing and blinding the driver so that he can do a barrel roll off the car before the driver crashes into the tree.
I thought that was extremely reckless of him. Like, he webs up the windshield so they can't see, and he jumps off, assuming that they're going to slow down, and they'll be okay when they smash into this tree and stop. Like,
Yeah, that's maybe a bit of like Venom's characteristics here. He's like kind of mimicking just how like dangerous
I
you
guess
can
yeah.
be. You know, as like being a hero, sometimes things do get dirty. And this is a very lethal way that Spider-Man risks these people's lives.
Yeah, there's probably a safer way he could have stopped the car if he wanted to, but
Well, he helps the police. The police are happy. And then he goes off to talk to, holy smokes, his girlfriend is gorgeous.
she's doing aerobics. He's calling her, cross country.
She's doing really good with the aerobics, I have to say.
They're working, yes. But he tells her, like, there's been some weird attacks, like these weird monsters have been attacking the city, just an offhand reference to something we've never seen before.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? Like monsters that are similar to the symbiote?
Exactly.
We haven't heard about this yet.
Right. That seems to be his theory, so I need to go check these out. They've been attacking public places, so I'm going to go try them all.
And that's where he goes. But we have this awesome cutscene to this one-page spread that is just magnificent. Venom inside of the prison.
Yeah.
The color matching what it looks like to be inside of this force field.
It probably would have been easier to draw kind of an inside view of that force field, but by showing us Venom through the barrier, it kind of emphasizes the fact that he is stuck and he's trapped in this force field ball, and he can't move through it because it's a sound barrier, and that will hurt the symbiote. So, through this entire page, he kind of comes to the realization that he needs to like de-symbiote his arm, and then he can reach through the barrier. He could theoretically separate entirely from the symbiote and leave.
But we don't find out what his decision is and how he's going to get out.
Right. He just comes to the realization that he can manipulate and get through in various ways.
He also brings up something from the last issue. Some things about his father.
Yeah, he mentions that he bulked up and got so muscular in the first place to try and impress his father, which we did see in a flashback in the last issue when Peter Parker goes to talk to Father Brock. I don't remember his first name. Eddie's kind of talking to himself about how disappointed his father would be to see him trapped and helpless and in a cage. Just a nice way to tie everything together, I thought.
I agree. We find out further just how important Eddie Brock's father plays in the role of his life and his decision making,
Yes.
especially as an anti-hero. We move on, and Peter shows up at the mall. He shows up at the mall to face off with what we see to be the first female symbiote.
Yes. Which I thought was another interesting way that the movie kind of took stuff from this issue in particular with the female symbiote. Spoiler alert, but the girlfriend / fiance of Tom Hardy's character in the movie gets the symbiote for a little bit in the film, and we get to see a female Venom.
For the first time, but not the same one as we
Right.
see here.
This is a character called Scream.
And she's pretty cool. Her
Right.
hair is like just as, is this even a word, symbiotic as their
That's
suit?
a word. Mm-hmm. It
All
reminded
right.
me of Medusa from the Inhumans. Like
Mhm.
her hair almost felt like a separate being, like a conscious
Character.
weapon / character.
They fight, and while they're fighting, we get an awesome shot of what's happening with Eddie over in this cage that he's in. There are two panels that are fantastic. The first, him reaching out, as you mentioned.
Right. It actually kind of makes sense. It ties in with the comment he made about his dad and his muscles. Like, I'm going to de-symbiote my arm, my super buff arm, grab this guy, just throw him right at the wall. And that will be the exact section of the wall that has to be having a dude thrown at it so it can deactivate the shield that he's trapped in. It makes Perfect sense.
It's a great panel.
That's where the switch is, and all it needs is to get smashed with something. Shuts down the whole thing.
Done.
Perfect.
Then we get brought back to underneath the city of San Francisco.
Yeah, that was out of left field.
I'm so happy they did this.
I did. I forgot all about those guys after they weren't even in the third issue at all.
They're living life. They're waiting to find out like what's going to happen. Everybody's on their toes, just worried like there's gonna be these mecha guys that are gonna show up. Is Venom gonna come back?
We're kind of screwed if he doesn't come back. You know, the lady in the underground society who was kind of on his side back when Venom was there. You know, she's getting mad at this like priest guy saying like, you know, you have to. What do we do if these machines come back and attack us again? And they're like, we'll have to trust in God and pray. And they're like, well, cool. Well, that's going to be our only option because you kicked out Venom, the only guy who could help us.
You see, I like that they show us this part.
Yes.
This is reminding us about what's actually going on underneath the city.
What the stakes are.
Yes. This is what it's about. Like Venom wants to live there, and hopefully he has a spot to live by the end of this. And there's got to be a reason why they're planning this and why they're talking about this.
Interesting you should mention that. Because we cut to Roland Treese.
Yes.
The corporate mastermind guy who's kind of the one who's sending those mecha dudes down there to kind of clear out all the homeless people.
Right. He's like interrogating some people.
Yeah, he's captured one of those same homeless people, and he's trying to interrogate him, figure out, you know, where you live, where your underground lair is.
Shout out to the freaking negative space in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
He's that blue.
Ron Lim.
Man, it's as gorgeous as a error print blue panel Sandman 18. Like it's just awesome. Just it pops so hard on this page. I can't help it.
Yep.
And we have a fight scene that's integral to this story because the fight scene between Peter Parker and Scream it's an all-out brawl that Peter Parker is kind of confused about.
Yeah.
Why is it so easy?
He realizes that, you know, these new symbiotes they're new. They're new. The people that they are attached to, they haven't really had exposure to the symbiote. They're kind of still figuring out how the process works.
Right.
So he's able to kind of subdue her relatively easily. She puts up a fair fight, but
by the end of it, she's like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Like she's
bye-bye.
Given up. She's given up. And we end the scene with Venom being removed from Eddie.
Yes. Yeah, the symbiote gets like completely extracted through his finger. Is that what happened, right?
Exactly.
It's kind of a cool way to show it. Like that's the last place they connected.
Yep. He's just trying to grab a hold of it, trying to keep it as long as he can. But he can't. And we have a final scene of debuting these 5 characters.
Yes. The 5 other symbiotes.
Symbiotes. And who do we have?
They don't name them in this issue, but their names are Scream, we've already been introduced to, Lasher, Phage, Agony, and Riot.
Riot.
Yes.
So that would mean this is the first appearance of
all 5 of these symbiotes, yes.
Including Riot.
Including Riot, the villain that they used in the Venom film, which is yet another way that they looked to this issue in particular. Out of all the 4 that we've read so far, this one seems to have had the most impact on the plot of the movie.
Exciting. We only have 2 issues left of this run.
This kind of feels like setup for the ultimate final fight, so I'm kind of interested to see what happens after that.
I want to know from the audience, did you get your Venom comic book when you went to see the movie?
We did.
We got so many. They handed out so many of us. And you know something interesting? Someone from the comic book community messaged me an error print. Like half of it was messed up. Like half of it wasn't there. It was like it was rolled in a really bad way.
CGC.
I know. That's what I told him. Like, you should get that graded. And that's what he wanted to know. He's like, should I get it graded and should I flip it? I'm like, that's what I would do, my man. Probably. But I want to know, did you guys get your copy? I was curious if this was released at every theater across the country.
Quick little thing too. It wasn't that big.
I liked it though.
It's cool.
It's cool. I like getting a comic book at entry to a movie. It reminds me of when I saw Pokemon and I got that Mewtwo card.
Yep.
That was such a good day for me.
It's cool to think about how many non-comic readers got a comic book when they went to see Venom.
Yeah.
Too. That can only help spread the love, spread the fever out to everyone.
Make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. You know, it helps us grow the podcast. We're trying to grow this community. And, as always,
geek responsibly.
Enough
said. I'm just going through some comic books here, and I just so happen to have the hot key going in the November mystery mail call. Batman Adventures, number 12, first appearance of Harley Quinn. Link is in the bio. Sign up, join the community.